see if this will record. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys, for coming on. So what I wanted to do is kind of go over what it takes as far as how to qualify for Elite and Premier, as far as how the points are structured and how to earn them, and really how you should kind of be goal setting. Now, the last couple of years, they've changed the point structures a little bit, and they changed them again for 2015. So this applies to Elite and Premier also. The only difference is your ranking, and if you're shooting for Premier, there's no max points on any of the categories. For Elite, you're only allowed a certain amount from each category. So Premier, there's no cap on any of them. But I'll go over that. So if you are pushing to be a 2015 Elite coach, you have to be a paid 5-star diamond the last week of the year, on December 31st. So the bonus week that ends December 30th. Basically, you would wake up December 31st as a 5-star diamond. You have to advance at least 2 personally sponsored coaches to diamond, and they both have to be diamond at the end of the year as well. And you have to have 135 Elite points. And then how do you earn Elite points? So there's 3 different categories. There's the Success Club category, the personally sponsored coach PV category, and then there's the advancement team volume category, which is the ATV. So for the Success Club category, you get 1 Elite point for every coach of yours that enrolled in 2014 or 2015 that hits Success Club. So your coaches that enrolled last year and this year, if they hit Success Club in any month, you get a point for that month. And if you hit Success Club that month, your points double. So if you're consistently hitting Success Club, each coach that you have that falls in this category of 2014 or 2015 as their sign-up date, you get 2 points for each coach. So that's great. And then the max on that category is 61 if you're pushing for Elite. If you're pushing for Premier, there's no cap on it. So 1 point per coach, and then 2 points if you hit Success Club. So that's really like where you probably will get the bulk of your points from. The second category is the personally sponsored coach PV. So any coach that you enroll in 2015, it's their personal volume. So if you enrolled, say, 5 coaches in the month of January with 21-day fixed challenge packs, it's 105 PV per coach. So it'd be 525, so that would be 1 point per month. And then obviously the earlier that you enroll them in the year, the more points you're going to get for them as the year goes on. So it's only coaches that enrolled in 2015. If you open a second business center, the coaches in that center count for Success Club and for the PSPV. It all, kind of rolls up. Your second business center, however, doesn't count as a 2015 coach. They did last year. They don't count this year. That was one of the big changes. So it's all aggregated together too. Every 500 points from like the bulk of your coaches is 1 point. You don't have to individually check, to see which coaches got to 500 and then get a point for them. It's all kind of aggregated together at the end of the month. If you're a lifetime diamond or above, you'll get an Elite email. They come on the second Friday of the month, obviously, for those of you who are obviously already getting them. They come the second Friday of the month, and then the last 6 weeks of the year or 8 weeks of the year, they come every week on Fridays. So once you get to diamond, if anybody on here is not diamond yet, you'll start to get them. And what you'll have on there is your 2014 ATV. So you can kind of see where you're at, and it will accumulate all of your points from the beginning of the year. You just won't get the email until you get to Diamond. And then the third category is your advancement team volume, which is the ATV. So you get 1 point for every 10,000 ATV year over year. So like last year I finished at, I'm looking, I don't have it up here on my wall, that's what I'm looking. I think I finished around 280 something thousand. So if you say 280, my volume would accumulate all year, but I wouldn't get any points until my ATV got over 290,000. Then I would get 1 point for every 10,000 after that. And the way that your ATV is calculated is it's the personally sponsored, it's the personal volume of your coaches 3 levels of sponsorship down. So it's your personally sponsored coaches, their personally sponsored coaches, and their personally sponsored coaches. If you're someone that's on like a power leg that has a lot of coaches being added, it's not the volume of your whole downline. It's your 3 levels of sponsorship down. So like your kids, your grandkids, and your great grandkids is kind of how they word it with corporate. So anything below that won't count for your ATV. But if you're signing up coaches and they're signing up coaches, or they're retailing, or you have a retailer that's 2 or 3 levels down, that all kind of counts. So that's how you earn the points. Before I move on, does anybody have questions on how to earn the points before I kind of go into how you can calculate them?
You kind of lost me with if your previous year was 280,000, you're not going to start earning until your next year's 290,000. I don't understand.
You won't earn in the ATV category. So it has to be.
Does it start over from 200 from 0?
It starts over from 0. So like if you have, well, Carla, you were Diamond in 2013. So if you pull up your first emails from 2014, it'll say your 2013 ATV at the top, and then you'll see your 2014. And if you go through the emails, you'll see your ATV grow and grow and grow. And it's not till it's 10,000 past that you start accumulating the ATV points. So it's year over year.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, that just kind of makes it really, really hard if you had a really big year, right?
Yeah, it gets harder and harder as your team grows. You have to grow your ATV by a minimum of 130,000 to get the 13 points that you need for elite. You have to have at least 13 points in that category.
I would imagine that, I mean, probably the reason why they do that is to make it so that you're continually growing your team, because otherwise you could just go off of the volume that's being created, if that makes any sense. From year to year, you could just live off of, like, say last year I had like 250,000 or something like that. I could just live off of that volume this year, and it would accumulate on itself because it's so, I mean, that's probably why they did that. But I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's like, oh my gosh, that second year is going to be like, what?
It's hard, and I was very worried about it. I was like trying to figure out how he was going to grow the ATV. But that's really something, if you're signing up coaches and your coaches are hitting Success Club, that's something that just will come very naturally as the year progresses. So it doesn't really matter what the rest of your downline is doing. It's just your first 3 levels of sponsorship. So if you have a couple of coaches who are big retailers, or you have a couple of coaches who are consistently signing up coaches, if you have a handful of coaches who are pretty consistently hitting Success Club, that's all stuff that's going to kind of grow your ATV. And your ATV is not like the team volume. Like when you log in and you see the team volume, that's team volume. The ATV is calculated off of personal volume. So that's another thing. You don't want to get discouraged if you figure out, oh, I need to have so-and-so like average a week to make the ATV, and my team volume is only this. It's off of the personal volume, not the team volume, which when you add it up, it makes a really big difference.
I just want to say also that I think the reason why it's a good thing that they do it that way is because it kind of puts you on a little bit more of a level playing field with people who have already been hitting elite in previous years, because they still have, that means they have to still push their business forward. It allows new people to come into elite and new people to be in the top 10 is what I mean.
Well, the ATV doesn't count for top 10. That's the other thing is ATV.
Oh, it doesn't count for top 10.
It doesn't count for your elite rank. It counts for elite, but it doesn't count for your elite rank. Like your trip points are what they use as your elite ranking, and that's only factored by the first two categories.
Oh, okay.
Count for that category.
Okay.
So if you guys, Julie, do you know if we have the elite goal guide in the team page by any chance? Can she hear me?
I don't think so. I know Julia posted something, but I don't think that was it.
I have. Is this it?
Who's holding that up?
Me, Carla.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you want me to put it in there?
If you can, or I mean, I have it on my computer. I can put it in. If you can do it, that's fine. So there is an elite goal guide that corporate has, which is fantastic because I feel like I made my own last year, and this is a lot easier to kind of go off of. So what they did was they basically gave you like an example one, and then they gave you like a blank one. So it's got like each category and then what you would need to do to kind of get there, and then figure out how to figure out like where you want your ATV to be, how many points you need, and kind of like what you need to qualify and reach elite. And they kind of break it down over, obviously over a monthly scale. So a very good way to gauge is to really follow this example that's in here, although this is even a little high. Which is, I mean, I guess it's a good thing. So what they basically are saying, if you have 4 personally sponsored coaches a month that hit Success Club, and you hit Success Club, that's 96 points for that category. So you'd max out at that category. And then if you enroll 3 new coaches a month, that would give you, 78 points in the second category, which would max out that category. So you'd be hitting Success Club, you'd be enrolling 3 new coaches a month, and if you did that, I guess they're basing it off of what they're saying these coaches are doing. They have like the example ATV as, can you take that? Can you put that over there? Here, put that over there. Put that over there. Thank you. They base the example off of like 200,000 as your end of the year ATV goal. So 16 elite points. I don't know how they got that, but if you worry about the first 2 categories, that third one will take care of itself as your volume grows. I see Julie shaking her head. She knows. I mean, and Julie's, can you talk about your ATV for like a minute, Julie? I mean, you've been around longer than any of us, and your ATV is still growing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. But it is, it is great because this does make it more fair for the newer coaches. And that's what I really like about it. But you have to think about it. If you hit 5-star and you enroll 2 new diamonds this year, that's a lot of ATV. And the thing is, where Brianne and I were kind of talking at the last quarter last year, it's very nerve-wracking because honestly, that doesn't kick in till November, right? I mean, maybe late October, depending on where you are. But for me, it didn't kick in until mid-November. So I literally had 6 weeks to hit it. And that part I hit. That was fine. I didn't hit the other part. So But anyway, it does happen naturally, especially if you are constantly building. It's just going to happen. So don't let that's the easiest one out of all of them if you're doing everything else, I would say.
It really is. It's the hardest to kind of calculate, like you can't, because you can't project for it. But if you are, I mean, especially if you are somebody who is newly diamond, or you're pushing for it, or you've only been a coach for a year or two, I honestly feel like it's easier to kind of grow your ATV. Mine from 2013 to 2014, mine in 2013 was like 40 something thousand. And last year it was almost 300 because I had to pop 5 diamonds.
Right.
So if you have to pop new diamonds every year, they're going to create so much volume that really is just going to kind of, it's all organic. It'll just kind of happen really all on its own. Can I help you? Mm-hmm. What do you want to do? This one. No, there's nothing in there. So the goal, and also if you feel like ATV is something that you're worried about, which I don't feel like anybody that's on here should be worried, they have an ATV multiplier that they stuck in there this year. So if you have your ATV points, and if you enroll, I don't have it on here. If you pop 4 or 5 new diamonds, they multiply your ATV by, I think it's 10%. Like they'll factor it like another 10% to bump you up, so you'll get extra ATV points if you need them. And if you pop 6 or more diamonds, I think it's 15% that they multiply your ATV by. Like they add on 15% of whatever your ATV is at the end of the year to kind of boost you if you're kind of close to that threshold in that category of struggling to get close to where your ATV is. But I mean, if you are constantly enrolling coaches and you're signing up coaches pretty regularly, you have coaches that are hitting Success Club pretty regularly, you'll see your ATV move very slow in the beginning of the year. And then once you get to like March, April, May, it kind of will just, I mean, it'll just take off. You know, if you have coaches that are coming out of the gate in January and February, remember everybody, even, you know, the top coach in the top 10, everybody starts at 0 because everybody's lost a year of coaches that qualify in the first category. And nobody has coaches that qualify in the second category until they start signing them up in January. So everybody, you know, starts at square one. So everyone's on a level playing field. So if you get out of the gate, you know, January, February, March, and you are signing up coaches and you're helping your coaches hit Success Club, that all kind of will just happen. And it'll happen in like a snowball. You'll see it go kind of slow and it'll start to get better. And then all of a sudden, everything will just kind of take off. So that's how you earn the points. And then there's the estimator that's on the guide that basically is a pretty good guideline. If you shoot for like 2 to 3 coaches a month that are hitting Success Club, and you shoot for signing up 3 coaches a month, the points are there. It's just a question of helping the people on your team get to diamond. In order to do that, is there a reason that you're being so loud? Does anyone have questions on any of that?
I had a quick one. Can you hear me on this? Because I don't know if it's coming through or not.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, they're old headphones, so I didn't know if it was going to actually work. So what you're telling me is I'm sitting here at Emerald. I've been Emerald for 2 years, and I'm driving myself nuts. And with the ATV multiplier, so you're telling me since I have to sign up 5 diamonds to even make it to 5-star diamond anyway, like 5 of my people have to go diamond anyway. What you're telling me is basically I'm going to get the ATV multiplier this year just because that has to happen in order for me to even reach the first requirement.
Absolutely.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm cool on that part. So
yeah, absolutely. And if you go into the FAQ, you can see all of the elite rules. Like you could see the official rules. And the multiplier is in there. I'm pretty sure it's 10 and 15%. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And then Premier is you have to be a paid 2-star diamond. You have to have at least 2 new diamonds. You still need the 2 new diamonds. Even if you're a 2-star or higher, you still need the 2 new diamonds for Premier, because it's just about growth. There is no caps on any of the categories. So all of your points can come from the first 2 categories without, without even worrying about what your ATV is, which is a big difference. So there's no cap. You can get all of your points from just having your coaches hit Success Club for Premier. There's no cap on the categories. There's no minimum for any of the categories. And that's something, if you go into the Premier rules, you can kind of see more of, but the big basic difference between the 2 is one is 2-star and one is 5-star. I don't know that there was anything else. I really just kind of was going to go over all of that. Did anybody have questions?
Hey, Brianne.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell everybody the benefits of Elite?
Oh, that's probably a good idea. So actually right out of the gate, we got a ton of them, and I was like pretty surprised. So actually, and some of the benefits for 2015, they have changed as well. So right now, probably the biggest benefit is a $500 bonus every month that you hit Success Club as an Elite coach. You have to be a paid 5-star diamond for 1 week out of the month, and you have to hit Success Club. And then you get $500. If what they're doing this year is because they're projecting so many Elite coaches for 2015, is the top 200 will get a $500 bonus, and the other elites after 200 will get a $100 bonus. So if Elite is something you're pushing for, that's where your ranking number really kind of comes into play. That's a big difference. Like, you're talking $5,000 difference in bonuses through the year. So that's the first bonus. We get exclusive benefits, like exclusive previews to see everything. We had access to the on-demand immediately after Super Saturday. So I've had the on-demand access for about a month now, almost a month. It's fantastic. For those of you guys who are going to get the preview, I think you get the email Thursday with the preview. It's fantastic. It's like the coolest thing, and I can't wait for the customers to be able to have it. It really is something that's unbelievable. And just a little piece of information on that, I get a lot of people asking me, like, how does it compare to a lot of people if they have like Roku now, or they have Hulu, or they have Apple TV, or whatever thing they have now. We've canceled our cable, so we have all this stuff. They talk about the Daily Burn, which is like an entire workout channel that you can stream different kinds of workouts, different times, different levels of difficulty, and all these different things. When you compare the two, our club membership is $38 for 3 months. Daily Burn is $18 a month. So already we're coming in cheaper with, I feel like, way more qualified trainers. The Daily Burn has, they have Bob Harper on there, but I think he's the only one that anybody has ever heard of that's on there. And obviously we have our trainers, and what they'll get is access to, what they're saying is over $1,000 in workouts for that $38 a month. So you can actually you can download the nutrition guide, you can download the calendar, you can choose your workouts by trainer, you could choose your workouts by, if you want cardio or weights, by your level of difficulty on the on-demand. And for as much as we all kind of say that the TBB site is kind of difficult to navigate, for people, because it is. There's so much information on the site that it's sometimes hard for people to shop on there. The on-demand is so simple to use. It's so easy. And I feel like it's really going to be a great add-on. So we've been able to preview that. I've been able to preview the 21-Day Fix Extreme for about a month as well. I've had one of the DVDs here since last month. We were able to, while everybody was clamoring to register for the cruise in the first 30 minutes it was open, we kind of like bopped on Friday morning and took our time and just kind of like registered. So you're guaranteed a spot, you know, on the Success Club trips. You register first for things like that. You register first for things like leadership. There are, you know, like all the great receptions that you get to go to at the events, at the Success Club trip, at leadership. And leadership is a huge thing. I don't know if anybody on here was at the New Leader Conference in LA last week. But if you're pushing for Premier, that's where you'll go in January. Now the leadership in the fall, you have to be 5-star to qualify to go to leadership in the fall. So if elite is on your radar, push for 5-star by the summer, because then you'll be able to qualify for leadership. Julie, do you know when the cutoff is for? Is it July again? Do you know?
It's usually, 6 or 8 weeks before the event, right?
Yeah, it's July 31st.
Okay.
I just looked it up the other night. Otherwise, I wouldn't know that.
So it's the end of July. So you'd have to start 5-star qualification like mid-June to qualify for leadership in San Diego this fall. But there's a lot of benefits. I mean, there's, you know, the recognition, which is always nice. And for me, it was very exciting for me to be able to tell my team that, you know, not even 2 years in, that because of the work that they had done, because it's not me, it's what my team does. I could sign up people all day, but if my team doesn't do anything, at the end of the day, that, you know, doesn't matter. So
Well,
very
and
empowering.
not only that, this year was the first year you had to be 5-star. All these other ones, they were accomplishing it at a 2-star. You did amazing work doing that so quickly. It wasn't just a 2-star level. So kudos to you. I mean, you deserve a lot of credit for that.
Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of benefits to it. So there's the $500 a month. You get all these exclusive previews. You're actually, and once you're elite, that's where they pull people from for. We have 10 minutes left. That's where they pull people from for the test groups for the new programs that are coming out. That's where they pull people from to test out new products like the Refresh, new Shakeology flavors, things like that. That's where they pull from for these pools. So there's all these extra, you know, added bonuses that kind of come with it. And, you know, so far it's pretty cool. I like what I've gotten. I mean, I like it so far. I've been doing the Dirty 30 Extreme. That's been like my workout at home for the last 3 weeks. It's like my favorite thing to do. And now that we have the on demand, the Plyo Fix Extreme is actually live on the on demand now. So if any of you guys hit Success Club last month and are going to be previewing it, you'll be able to get Plyo Fix Extreme when you get your access, which I think is Thursday. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's Thursday. So that'll be great for you guys to kind of be able to preview. You could see how the programs work on there. And what they will detail to you guys, I don't know if they'll put it in the email or if what they'll do, but any post that you make about it, anything that you share, you can't have like the URL posted. Like if you share like a screenshot of it on your phone, it has to be like a full screen screenshot. You can't have like the address bar or anything in a screenshot where somebody could see like, oh, that's what the URL is for it. That was just like a side note, because that was like a big thing that we all got kind of like hammered into us. So that's a lot of the benefits. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I don't even remember.
And I mean, I don't know. I'm sure everybody on the call knows about this, but I just found out about it last year. The quarterly bonus that they do for it's people who are 2-star and above. And there's like 4 different categories of bonus pool and stuff. I mean, I don't know if you can speak to us a little bit about just like what that looked like last year for you, because you were in qualification for that for a couple of the periods last year, weren't you?
I was in qualification for forever last year. I think poor Julie had so many phone calls from me like, I can't take this anymore. It just has to end. But I was happy that I kind of had it all at in one kind of like, I had a 6-week for 1-star, a 6-week for 2-star, and then 3, 4, and 5 overlapped, and it was like 10 weeks in a row, which was really difficult. That was very stressful. So the quarterly bonuses are really based on what the company does and how many coaches there are that qualify for the bonus, more importantly. Because what the company does, looking back on it now, the amount of quarters that I've had, and I'm sure, Julie, you can kind of see the same thing for how, you've had your bonuses for forever, that volume that the company doesn't vary all that much from quarter to quarter. I mean, in 2014, obviously it like skyrocketed, but as far as from quarter to quarter, it's not terribly different. It more is emphasized by the amount of coaches that get the bonus. So the 2-star bonus goes anywhere from like $850 to like $1,000 a quarter, roughly. And the 5-star bonus is usually, I'm trying to think, it's usually like $3,000 to $4,000 a quarter, I think. Although the fourth quarter that we just got, the bonus that we just got in January, was $1,000 less than the last quarter because of all of the brand new 5-stars that came right at the end of the year. Because if you're holding qualification for 6 weeks, that counts for the bonus. So if you're shooting for, say, like the 2-star bonus for June, and you go into 2-star qualifying in the beginning of May, you're going to get that bonus if you hold it and rank up to 2-star. Because that, you're still holding a paid 2-star. You're still holding a 2-star rank for 6 weeks out of the quarter. So that counts as far as qualifying. The 10-star, I think, is, I think it's like 12,000 or 10,000, something like that. It's a lot. And then the 15 stars, that's like a crap. It's between like 35 and 45,000. Although there was one quarter last year that I think it was like 48,000 and change. Somebody posted it. It was out of control. But that's a lot. There's so many moving parts to that. And I feel like that's your pay for having that kind of a stressful rank. Like that's kind of like your compensation for that. So, and that's independent of being Premier or Elite. I mean, if you're a paid 2-star for 6 weeks out of the quarter, you're going to get that bonus. If you're a paid 5-star for 6 weeks out of the quarter, you're going to get that bonus. That has no emphasis on Elite or not. I could have missed the bonus the last quarter of the year, but still hit Elite because I was already a paid 5-star. So I could have fallen out of 5-star for the entire quarter, ranked back up that last week, and still hit Elite. I would have missed the bonus, but I would have hit Elite. So those two things are very independent of each other. One has no impact on the other.
Good.
At all. We have just a couple minutes left. Did anybody else have any other questions? Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody, for coming on. I hope this was informative, at least for you guys. Oh, and I know that some of you had asked, because I talked about that I track my points weekly, because I'm very much a numbers person and I can't rely on a once-a-month email to kind of tell me where I am. I do have a video on my YouTube page of how I track it, but I can't even turn my computer around to show you because there's nothing here now because it's only 3 weeks into the year. But if you have questions, I mean, feel free to just ask, about how I track them. But thank you guys all for coming on.
Well, Bran, thank you for doing this. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. All right, everybody have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Thanks, Bran.
Bye.
Bye.